girl Dee Dee from That's Just TMI. I'm here with my girl Tiffany Don. She got it going on. You're here, bestie. And we've got a special guest today. We've got Javon Minto. Let me tell you a little bit about Javon Minto. Actually, before I do, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Click the bell so that you stay in the know. This is Millennial March Madness, where we're talking to millennials about all their professional things that they've accomplished, and it's great so far. So stay tuned. So Javon Minto is an economic affairs and public diplomacy officer at the Mexican Embassy in Jamaica. First of all, a mouthful. Right? He has worked at an Inter-American Development Bank, and in 2017, he was also named China and Latin America Young Scholar with the Inter-American Dialogues Asian and Latin America Program. Again, a mouthful.
I'm thrown.
He has published 4 book chapters on China-Caribbean relations. He holds a BA in Economic Development and International Corporation and a BA in Communication Studies. Ciao!
I want to break it down today.
Okay, I can break it all down if you want.
Yes,
all the way down. Because
yeah, what exactly do you do in your role? Like, because what she said was soupful. So
right. So let me just give you a quick narrative. And first of all, thank you so much for having me. It's an absolute pleasure. I mean, as soon as I heard that you guys were doing it, I had no second thought, but I just wanted to do it, so thanks again. But it starts in Mexico. I spent 2 years in Mexico. I did my master's in Mexico. And after I came back, while I was doing my master's in Mexico, I did a lot of studies around China's engagement with Latin America and the Caribbean. So I spent 3 months in Washington, D.C. as an intern, looking at Chinese development finance throughout the region, then came back to Jamaica 2018 and got a job at the Mexican Embassy. And so my job at the embassy now is basically to connect Mexican companies with Jamaican suppliers and vice versa, where they're looking, and just help to promote Mexico in Jamaica. So that's all that first title means. And my work around China is just basically to understand or, create a narrative or synthesize what China is doing, or with its loan offerings, with its engagement with the Caribbean. And that's all it means, I promise you.
even the definition sounded
really?
like,
I thought that was quite simple because
no,
it's connecting. So if a Jamaican supplier, if a Jamaican business said, hey, we want some let's say specialized bottles outside of Mexico, can you connect us with maybe a supplier, a business that can give us those bottles? It comes to my desk at the embassy, and I have to connect with everybody, government, private sector in Mexico to get that happening. That's all it means.
Go ahead, Tiff.
I have a question. So what exactly are you supplying? Is it like food? Is it anything? Because if it's anything, then
I facilitate for things to be supplied, whatever it is. It comes to my desk, and
like even hair, because
whatever my lot, whatever his lot.
If it's there.
So I'm just saying, guys,
Canada, I don't have jurisdiction.
Are great because now I know who the real hookup is.
Well, if you're in Canada, I don't have jurisdiction,
No, but at least.
But you know somebody
who knows somebody.
Who knows.
Hallelujah.
You know somebody. This is
okay, fair enough. So that's essentially in a nutshell what I do, basically.
That's a big nutshell.
A huge nut. So why did you choose this profession? How did you go along this path? I know before the camera came on, you mentioned you were studying something else as your undergrad. So what caused the switch?
Well, it's a lot, because I think since the time I started my undergrad, when I started Northern Caribbean University, I actually went there to do religion and theology to become a pastor, basically. And I transitioned from that and finished my degree in communications, where I worked as a journalist for 2 years, basically. And then after journalism, I sort of switched into international development. And I think I don't want to go too much in the religion part because I think that's way in the past. But the easiest thing to explain is the transition from journalism to international development. And I
Mhm.
think it started around 2015 when, like, Jamaica was literally in an economic crisis, right?
Mm.
Like the public debt was like 150% of GDP, which essentially means if in a single year we make $150, well, if we make $1, right, we have to pay back $1.50 to external debtors, like to the IMF, to the World Bank. So we were in a very bad position, essentially. So my job in the newsroom then was to go around the country reporting on all of these things. And I think I recognized really how important our international partners, Canada, UK, the US, the IMF, the World Bank, how critical they were to our future and our success, you know? And I think the transition was easy to see how it emerges. Because the good thing about working as a journalist is that you literally can see what's happening on a day-to-day basis. You know the game. Like you can reel off what's happening in each sector because you are reporting on it, you know? So that transition was quite how that happened, seeing the debt issue right there. So when I got the opportunity to go to Mexico to do my master's, a fully funded Mexican government scholarship, I had no second thought about doing it because I knew it would provide more opportunities for me.
Wait, I'm sorry. How did you get a fully funded government scholarship to go to Mexico to study to then?
Because Jamaica is in a position where we need external, I think we need the support of external actors like foreign governments. So they provide us with scholarship opportunity every year. Basically, Jamaican nationals are offered scholarships to go to Mexico. So you just applied for it, and I was successful. Yeah.
Okay.
Right,
Like it's easy.
I applied and I was successful.
I don't think it was easy, but I think I stuck to my own story. I perhaps shouldn't tell you because I'm also going away again in August to China to do another. Yeah.
You're going to
So-
China.
So are you going away for work? Or are you going away for?
I'm going to be doing another master's.
You're just selfish.
I'm over it.
Leave some for the people's children.
Well, this time I'm going because the program I'm going with is called the Schwarzman Scholars Program.
Okay.
It's funded by a New York billionaire. His name is Steven Schwarzman, and they are basically taking young people from all over the world. This year, 150 of us or 40 something of us are going. And the point is that I have been doing so much work on China. And so now what you're trying to do is create a bridge between China and the Western world, because you're in Canada and you see the tensions happening between Canada and China. It's the same thing in Europe, the United States. And we are small developing states where everybody expects for us to be bystanders. And if Canada says to us, oh, Jamaica, I want you to side with us, people expect us to side with them. And I fundamentally believe that we have to have our own autonomy in these processes, which essentially mean we have to bring our own opinion to the table. And so I think for the long run, I want to play a fundamental role in what happens in China-Caribbean relations. And so this is a leadership program. The opportunity came up to go to China for a year, learn Mandarin. And I thought, why not? I've been doing so much work on China. It's just 1, 2, 3 logical to go there.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. And how long have you been in this type of job career?
I did 2 years between 16, 18, I did my master's. And throughout that period, I got some really good opportunities. Again, internships, because I see an opportunity, I'm literally going to apply for it. Mm-hmm. And so while I was doing my master's, I left Mexico. I went to the US for 3 months in Washington to do a nice internship with the Inter-American Development Bank. And I came back to Mexico and I left Mexico again. I went to Europe to do I was doing some research, went to do a presentation to the German Foreign Office, the European Union representatives at a conference. And I think from there, by the time you begin to go out and speak at these events, you can know if you want to be in it for the long term. And honestly, these things really matter to small countries, because these are the guys who set the rules. If the United States says, tomorrow we want to change how banks fund projects, the banks have to change it. They can increase the interest rates and locked out a lot of small countries. And so these are the people that you literally need to be within circles to understand how they think and to be able to influence them in some ways. And so that's how I see myself in the long run.
Wow.
So if you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
How young? I'm 28 young.
You are 28
I'm
young.
20. Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know a lot of 28-year-olds who work at an embassy.
No.
I actually think you're the first person I know that's 28 that works at an embassy. And I just want to know, like, how do you even get into the embassy? Is it that you just saw a job posting and you're like, hey?
Pretty much. Well,
You're like
in my sector, I can promise you that in this field that I'm working, it's super competitive. And which is why every opportunity you have to take, right? Because there are people who, I just speak Spanish, English fluently. I know colleagues, peers that have been within program, like they have been traveling, going and study abroad, 4 or 5 different countries. They're fluent in 4, 5, 6 different languages, and it's a very tough field. So if you look on the world stage, the people who are leading, in most cases, I mean, I'm not afraid to say this, they don't look like us, right? Because we just don't have the means to be going to Brazil for 6 months to learn Portuguese and leave Brazil and go to Colombia and travel. We just don't have the cash. And so it's something that I recognize very well by just doing these internships that, well, it's just a few of us. It's literally a few of us. At my internship at the IDB, I remember there were 47 interns and there were just 7 people from the Caribbean there, like 7 Black in young interns. I mean, not a big deal because we applied and we have to make the change in our individual spaces, but you just cannot be absent-minded about where you're working, how the configurations are. And then you ask people about their story and you fundamentally know what's responsible. We just don't have the resources to begin that early formation development, learn languages, travel abroad, know different cultures. So which is why the Mexico scholarship, excellent for me. I couldn't fund myself in Mexico for 2 years, sorry. And I couldn't go to China for 2 years, sorry. And I couldn't spend 3 months in DC without internship. So these are the opportunities, or the options that give me these opportunities to do what I'm doing. Answer your question now. I literally saw the job posting when I came back that the Mexican embassy was looking for somebody to work in the economic affairs and public diplomacy section. And I thought having spent 2 years in Mexico learning the language and culture, that I was an excellent fit. And I did my master's over there in international cooperation. So I wanted to work with these sort of institutions. And so I thought it was a good match and they thought so too. And so I guess that's why they selected me.
Wow. And so in working in the embassy and in all these spaces, have you faced any obstacles in this career, or have you faced any obstacles getting into this sort of career? Because you said it's very competitive.
Well, getting here to date has always been a challenge. Specifically, for example, I think my story really, really started when I did my internship in Washington, D.C. Getting in that program, I think they said that year they received maybe 3,000 plus applications and they only accepted 47 of us. So I was like super grateful and relieved that I got a chance to even get an interview opportunity, because I promise you, when they put out, we're looking for young interns, everybody from Harvard, Yale, and the Ivy Leagues all over Canada. I met a very nice friend from Canada who was participating in the program. Everywhere, Latin America, everybody competing, and just getting a chance to participate. Those places, opportunities open doors for you that you can't closed, you know. So when I was at the IDB, I met somebody in DC and the Inter-American Dialogue who was responsible for the China Latin America program. And I literally sent her a DM on Twitter that, hey, I really like your work. We've been doing so much studies, reading your books in classes in Mexico. I'm in DC now. Can I come over to your office and talk to you? And she said, of course, you know, I'm on maternity leave now, but as soon as I come back, come into my office. When I was in DC, maybe the last month or so, she sent me back a DM response and said, I'm back at work now. You can come over by my office. DC is a very small town, so everything is 5, 6, 7 minutes away. So I walked over. We had a very good conversation about China in in the Caribbean. And she said, you know what? Next couple of months, we're launching a program and we think you're an excellent fit. When it comes out, you can apply. And that's literally how I got into the Inter-American Dialogue China Latin America program. I've gone to so many forums in Peru just on that program. We spent some time in Mexico. We were supposed to go to China, but that was canceled. And the networking opportunities, they just open so many doors. But I think I like to take control of my own destiny, because if you don't, nobody else will for you, and I think that's what I've been doing, and that's what I want to continue doing.
That last part that you just mentioned, taking control of your destiny, I find that so many of us as millennials, we're scared to take those steps, or we don't think that we would qualify for some of those jobs. Like, one of the first things I said is that I don't know any 28-year-old working in an embassy. I find that there's certain positions where we think are just for older people, or for someone else who's probably more qualified, more work experience, life experience. But you saying that statement where, we need to take control of our destiny, or recognize within ourselves, I am qualified. Because you even said that you're like, I thought I was qualified. They did too. And when
exactly, and not to cut you, but I promise you that if you don't take a chance on yourself, nobody else will. You have to go in these spaces. One, nobody has time to teach you unless you have to come with something to the table. Like, my bosses, they don't have time. They're like, what do you think? Prepare me a brief. I'm like, okay, I mean, you know nothing about this subject. You got to sit down and do your own research. Like, there is no spoon feeding. And so, again, I think the best training I've gotten to date was when I was working as a journalist, because a piece of, you get something in your inbox, like 50 pages, breaking news in maybe like in like a court case. You have no knowledge of, how the legal system works. But as a journalist, you have to be able to condense information and synthesize it so even the 5-year-old can understand what happened, And so that sort of training, I don't think without that I would be this far. I'm not even limiting myself, but I think that sense of fast-paced environment, how much it drags you up to be mature very quick with understanding big issues. I think that was a critical part of my formation. And so it puts you in a position to go to the table knowing what you want, why you want it, how and when. Those are the critical elements around the news process. And so I literally handle myself like how I do a story. I need to know the start, the finish, the end. And I don't know, but it's what I do.
And wow, that so this is actually so good. What's your favorite part of your career right now? And then what's your least favorite part? So let's do the comparison and contrast. What do you
The
like?
least favorite part is the bureaucracy. My God, can I tell you?
That's
Government work is a lot of work. And for example, I remember when I was in DC, the president of the bank, he was speaking to the interns, as they do regularly when we did the photo opportunity. And he said, well, I think a lot of you would have been here for a while now, and you experience the bureaucracy here at the bank, how difficult it is to get things done. And he said to us, don't be alarmed. It's what happens in any country. Imagine us, where we are a bank where 47 countries, I think, don't quote me on that, 47 countries form part of the bank, and every one of them bring their own individual process to the game. And so getting things done, changing a single text, it's so much. What's your comment on that. Like it takes up so much time. But that's my least favorite part. But I think my most favorite part of it is just going to work every day and be able to sit at my desk and see the world from my inbox, and it's such a fascinating thing. The coronavirus, I think this is a good example to use. The virus outbreak. I remember when it just started, like you saw your inbox being flooded by Mexican diplomats from all over the world reporting from where they are. What was the situation? Brazil reported its first case, Italy, China, the United States. This country is closing, and you get a very up close view without even being there. And it happens in so many different issues. When the Bahamas, for example, had the Hurricane Dorian, we were reporting on it, and they were just sending the reports that we were filing locally, because the embassy here in Jamaica works with the Bahamas. We have jurisdiction for the Bahamas. By the time we send it to the Mexican government, they send it through to all their embassies, and everybody's sending comments on it. And so, you're in their different spaces, but you have access to the world because people are posted everywhere. And it's such a critical window to see what's happening. So I think that's my favorite part, to be honest.
Wow. And in that favorite part, is there anything that keeps you motivated, or like?
It's a long shot for me. Oh. And I tell you why, because somebody said to me, well, you can't be promoted from where you are. I'm a local staffer, basically. I'm not a Mexican, so I can't officially represent Mexico. I'm just a Jamaican engaged by the Mexican embassy to help them in their efforts. So there's no up to go. Is that you come this position, you say goodbye. And somebody said to me, oh, why don't you join the Jamaican Foreign Service? And like, well, I want to go to multilateral. So I'm not looking, multilateral means working with the big organizations instead of different countries. Like, that's why. So it's not a case that I'm looking forward to being promoted. It's just the long shot is this is a critical training ground to go further to work with international organizations. So, I mean, it is what it is. And I know the game. I think to date, I have recognized what a lot of people do, how they get a foothold into it, and who are the people who give you a good recommendation letter to the institutions. And, and I am learning and trying to be a good guy along the process. And so it's just this quick learning environment that I've put myself in and trying to navigate very carefully.
Well, you've mentioned the long shot and the long game, and you've been hinting at something, and I just want to jump ahead. What's the long-term goal? Like, what's there? There's something running in your head, and I want to get there. What is it?
Right now, I can tell you maybe the next 5 to 10 years where I want to be. I want to go back to work with the Inter-American Development Bank, the IDB. They are the largest multilateral funder or financier to the Caribbean and Latin American governments. So the World Bank services the entire world, right? The IDB is more regional, so they provide money to Latin America and the Caribbean. The IDB provides more money to this region than the World Bank does. So that's all it means. And multilateral organizations, they have a whole lot of capacity. And all that means is that they have a whole lot of money. They have a whole lot of technical resources where there are real people who have spent 15, 20 years studying a specific sector, how the education systems work, and how you need to change policy to better, reap benefit for your people. And when you combine these two things together, you find that small countries like Jamaica, where one, we don't have money, and two, we need more technical assistance, you engage with these organizations and you can literally get your systems working better for you. And when the systems work better, your people benefit more. And these are the spaces that I want to be in. I mean, right now, we can't do much with what we have in our savings account here in Jamaica. And one of my big complaints is, why is chicken so expensive in Jamaica? We eat chicken every single day. I mean, I complain about it every day. I just can't understand why chicken is so expensive. And it's simple, because we don't produce a lot. And
Mm.
again, the little that we produce, the cost of energy is so high that by the time you begin producing, the amount that you're going to pay to the Jamaica Public Service, the electricity company, is so much that you have to find a way to pass on that cost to the consumer.
Right.
And I give you this example, and I think I can talk about this. I was on a call with some Mexican investors, and this is something I also organize Mexico Jamaica Investment Forum to talk about these things. And they said to us, well, the Mexican firm controls the two airports in Jamaica through concession, leasing basically. And they said to us, what we pay in 1 year in electricity bill for the two airports here in Jamaica is what we pay for 12 in Mexico. You know, and that's what I was saying. Like, it's a very expensive country because we just don't have enough systems and the cost of production is so high. And so if you think about like working with the IDB to sort of diversify your energy mix, so you move away from fossil fuels and you go into more cleaner resources, they can fund it. You come with a strategy, they can fund it because they have the deep pockets. When you do this, you can reduce the cost of energy, you reduce food prices, and your people prosper better. Instead of paying $100,000 a year in light bill or electricity, maybe you can pay like 20,000 and put some elsewhere. So these are the sort of big picture things that I like to work into, bring real benefits to my country and my people. So that's where I want to go to answer your question.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it. But wait, how much is chicken?
Uh, okay. I know, for example, I had chicken. I think I had chicken yesterday, and I thought I paid maybe $1,200 for chicken, and I
Break
don't.
that down for the people in the good land
So
of
expensive.
Canada.
We eat chicken more than anything in this country, and it's so expensive. It's forever my complaint. Sorry.
So you're saying you're not having Jamaican KFC? Because that's weird.
I cannot KFC.
Yeah.
No, I buy it, but I still think it's expensive. What I want in my ideal world is for the prices to go down, but I know it won't go down because of the external production costs associated with it.
So that's I just did the conversion. That's $10.22 for us. But is that a whole chicken or is that just a leg?
It's a leg and a breast.
Mercy. Imagine Tiff if we were paying $10.22.
I'm not paying $10 for chicken. I'm gone vegan.
No, you can't go vegan in this country. Sorry.
Why?
It's too expensive. I promise you.
So how are we gonna keep healthy?
Like a single piece of broccoli, just like I don't know how they call it, but like you just chop off piece of an entire thing of broccoli. It's $500 and something, man.
Okay, so what happened to the farmers and people? Like, where are they?
Well,
here
we don't produce a lot, so we have to import a lot.
So a lot of your everything, how much? What's the percentage of what you guys are eating is going to be imported?
I think more than half of what we eat is imported in this country.
Wow, I would not have guessed.
The thing is that our productive capacity is so constrained, and again, production costs, energy costs, all these issues are part of it. But an important part of this story is that we are 2.9 million plus people, and every year we get like let's say 3 million tourists, cruise passengers, and airline passengers visiting. And so the hotel chains who are here from the Spaniards, the Mexicans, what they do, because they are hotel chains, they have their headquarters, like say in Spain or Cancun, and they do all their operations out of Miami. And so they import a majority of their goods to the country, and it's cheaper. And they complain every day that they engage the local farmers, and then, like, let's say around this summer, we have drought. And if they don't import, then they can't feed their guests. Yeah. And that's just not good for business. And so you can then understand why the costs are so high. But it is something that the government has been working towards. And I hope that one day that I am in those spaces to influence reducing the costs associated with, what we import or produce.
Okay, and what advice would you give like a young man or a young woman who wants to get into this type of career?
I think the first place to start is know where you want to work, where exactly in the system you want to work. It is a massive, there's so many fields that you can work in these organizations. You can go from communications, you can go from translating communication, energy policy, education policy, telecoms, infrastructure, renewable energies, wherever you want, you can go there. But you have to know why you want it. Because I promise you, sitting on a panel in front of seven senior people questioning you and grilling you, and you're competing for a single job, and 15 other people have applied, you better know why you want to, why you applied for the job, because it's not easy. Yeah. And I remember one of my first interview where I almost, it just felt like, why are there seven people? I literally thought, because of seeing that sort of image, you sit on a panel, it just feels intimidating in that sense. Mm-hmm. I didn't get the job. I wouldn't say unfortunately right now, but at the moment when I didn't get it, because I think when I just finished the internship and I had finished my program, I applied and I didn't get a job. And I just felt devastated, but it was a good redirection. Although I thought going back to DC would have been super exciting. I didn't get it. And now I'm going to China to expand my horizons. So I'm grateful for the failures and the success. So you just have to know why you want to do it. And second, add to that, work towards getting the skill sets. There's no way you're going to get a job in most of these spaces without knowing one or two additional foreign languages. Sorry. It's just how it is, because everybody who's applying, perhaps 2, 3 or more, plus the technical skill sets. And so it is a real ball game. And so you have to approach it with that sense of seriousness that they're asking for this in all of their job posting. I perhaps need to meet the minimum requirement first.
Wow. So since you're in economics, do you do investments or tradings? And now that you're going to China and stuff, do you do those
Forex trading?
Yeah, right?
I don't do Forex trading, but I'm just getting in the capital market locally. I've done a few investments, and I think I'm happy. I think I'm happy to date, and I don't know capital markets that well because it's different from traditional investment because of how the stocks perform. But it is something I'm learning to do, because you have to understand also how the markets behave. By the time you are in a more senior role in these spaces, you have to sort of have a more bird's eye view on the world to understand changes, how systems behave, and capital markets, they play a fundamental role in whatever happens in any economy. So on my own, I literally just started out, and I'm kind of happy with some of it. One of them, I am mad to sort of sell it off. But I was told to just hold on because be in it for the long term.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay, that is phenomenal. Now, I do believe that we've asked all of our questions. And I'm just wondering, is there anything else you'd like to share to any young millennial or any person that's either in the Caribbean or any other country that just feels inspired or motivated by what you've just shared with them today?
Honestly, I mean, I'm a very frank, open person. I don't think it makes sense to put up all these strictures and all these structures in your life. If it works for you, fine. Yeah. But as I said to a friend earlier today, in life, just do you. I mean, it's so fundamental that you have to know where you are going. You can't listen to external, you just can't focus on what anybody else is saying. You go to the gym, you lose some weight, people see you and they say, hey, you look good. And that's all it means in that single moment. They can't think about you forever. And so losing or gaining weight, it's up to you. And it is just what life is all about. Do you have a tunnel vision about what you want and why you want it? People will compliment you, but after the compliment, that's all it is. And so if you don't have that sense of foundation for yourself, you're going to lose out. And so just stick to the game and just go in with it in a real sense of purpose. And what you do is valid, and how you see yourself and the world is valid, you know? So just approach it with that. And I don't think I have much more to offer beyond that, because if you go with that perspective, you're well on your way.
Wow.
That is a great perspective. I know, right? That was needed. We needed to hear that. That was good. Thank you.
Because he spoke to working out, and I legit skipped my workout this morning.
People tell you that, you can lose some weight there, and then you lose the weight. And then, like, how many people can tell you, you lose weight? Maybe one or two people tell you that. And beyond that, what else? So you have to know why you're even in the gym. Aesthetics, fine, but think about the health benefits and what it brings to you, a clearer mind and all of those things. And do it for you, nobody else, because people don't care beyond the single moment in when they give you a tip or compliment.
Ain't that the fact?
Sir, eating my humble pie right now. Yummy.
Do you, man?
Do you? I think on that note, this has been so phenomenal. We want to thank you so much, Javon, for joining us to motivate us and inspire other young millennials to possibly enter this career path, or just giving them a mindset or a frame of mind of what they need to get into this career path. And you were frank, you were honest, and you let us know what it's all about. Now it's up to us to just do it and keep that mindset, have that tunnel vision, and figure out what we want to do for us. So just do us. So just do you, guys.
You. And we need more Black people in international development.
You heard him.
We need more people who look like me and you, because we ain't gonna get a savior if we don't save ourselves, you know? And so it's true.
Whoa.
We feel it over here. We feel it.
Nobody's going to save us.
Nobody.
You got a little bit of the preacher still left in you. I tell
you. I tell you, there's a word on his heart. It's coming out.
I didn't think I could do that well at preaching, to be honest. And not in the Caribbean context. Not in the Caribbean context, at least, because like that fire up kind of.
Sir, you have a whole heap of fire up under you right now.
Yeah. The church is a whole sort of ball game, you know?
Yes, but I think there's fire where you're passionate, and this is definitely where your passion lies.
100. Yeah. So thank you so much again for having me. It's a pleasure.
It's our pleasure. Thanks, guys, for watching That's Just TMI. Here at That's Just TMI, we are thought-provoking.
Thought-provoking. You gotta say it too.
Thought-provoking.
No, I'm gonna start again. Here at That's Just TMI, we are thought-provoking.
Thought-provoking.
Motivational. Inspirational. Thanks for watching That's Just TMI. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Have a good evening. Goodbye.